Monsters Incorporated Storybook Collection. Ooh. A monstrous mess of a party. Sulley was always happy when he visited Boo in the human world, but one night he had a lot on his mind. "I have a problem," he told Boo. "I've been so busy at work, I haven't planned anything for Mike's birthday, and it's in 2 days. "I always plan something special," Sulley continued. "Last year I took Mike to see a giant chunk of stinky cheese. He loved it." Sulley sighed. "I don't know what I'm going to do." Boo's eyes lit up. "Party!" she cried. She hurried over to the dresser and handed Sulley a picture. "Party, huh?" Sulley said. He looked at the picture, which had been taken at Boo's last birthday party. Boo was next to a big cake, and kids were playing all kinds of games. Sulley had been to monster birthdays with slime sundaes and scary movie marathons. But he had never seen a party like the one in Boo's photo. "I think Mike would love this," Sulley exclaimed. "May I borrow the picture?" The next morning, Sulley showed his friends the photo. Mike's girlfriend, Celia, was there, along with George Sanderson, Smitty Needleman, and Chaluby, who oozed slime wherever he went. "I want to throw a party like this for Mike's birthday," Sulley explained. "It looks fun," Celia said, "but how do we make it?" "We can gather the supplies today," Sulley said, "and surprise Mike tomorrow when he gets home from work. What do you say?" That afternoon, each of the friends set out with a copy of Boo's picture and a job to do. Smitty and Needleman volunteered to make the cake. "What are those things?" Smitty asked, pointing to the birthday candles in the picture. "I don't know," Needleman shrugged. Needleman shrugged. "I don't know. Maybe they're worms." The friends agreed that must be what they are, so they headed off to the Monstropolis swamp. Needleman grabbed a handful of worms from the mud and dropped them in his pail. "Now for some sludge," he said excitedly. "You're having all the fun," Smitty complained. He tried to get in front of Needleman to grab some worms too, but when he moved, he slipped on the mud. Splat! They both fell face first into the muck. "Oh, great," Needleman said. "My mud bath is usually on Tuesday." Back at Monsters Incorporated, George looked at his copy of Boo's photo. His job was to make something similar to the piñata, but he had never seen one before, so he didn't know what it was. Maybe it's a stuffed monster, he thought, heading to the daycare closets. Soon, he'd picked out a toy monster. "You're awfully cute," he said, stuffing it into his bag. Celia was in charge of presents. She was supposed to pick out a different gift for each of Mike's friends to give him, but she couldn't pull herself away from the aftershave counter at Monster Mart. Everything smelled so wonderful. Boiled cabbage had a nice stink to it. So did rotten milk. And dog breath. Her snakes loved the way the dog breath aftershave smelled. "I'll take 10 boxes of dog breath," she said to the sales monster. Down the street, Sulley was picking out games at the Monstropolis toy store. He put Pin the Forked Tail on the monster in his shopping cart, along with Monster Bowling. Then he checked Boo's picture. The kids in the photo were tossing around a large red disc. He asked the store owner for help finding something like it. "Why are they throwing a plate?" she asked, confused. Sulley shrugged and decided to try the kitchen store. The next afternoon, the friends set up for the party. George used a string to hang his stuffed monster from the ceiling. "How does that look, Sulley?" he asked. "Great," Sulley said. "Now just grab the bat." "Bat?" George blinked. He looked at Boo's picture and gasped. A boy was whacking the animal with a bat. He didn't realize that a piñata was a paper animal filled with candy. Right. Bat," he said. "You got it." He then hid the bat. He didn't want anyone hitting his stuffed monster. Suddenly, the kitchen door flew open. Chalubi slid through the door, leaving behind a trail of slime. He was carrying a bowl of punch that was sloshing around everywhere. "Here comes the cake," Needleman cried. He and Smitty carried a towering plate of chocolatey goop with worms sticking out. "You were supposed to make it look like this," Sulley said, pointing to the cake in Boo's picture. "We tried," Smitty said, "but the worms wouldn't go into the oven, so we couldn't bake it." Sulley compared Boo's picture to the messy room. What he and his friends had put together looked more like a disaster than a party. Suddenly, the friends heard a key in the lock. "Oh no," Sulley exclaimed. "That's gotta be Mike. I hope he likes it." Seconds later, Mike opened the door. "No paperwork today," he cried, thinking he'd only see Sulley. "I skipped it to come home early for my birthday." When he saw the other monsters and the mess they'd made, his eye got very wide. "Mike," Sulley said, "I can explain." "You did this for my birthday?" Mike cried. "It's amazing!" Sulley pointed to the slime and punch spilled on the floor. "Oh boy, a slime slide!" He dove into it. Green goo splashed everywhere. The other monsters looked at each other, wondering if they should explain. But Mike looked like he was having so much fun. Finally, Sulley shrugged and said, "Come on, everybody, let's play on the slime slide." Then he ran and slid along it himself. Soon, all the monsters were sliding and laughing together. Eventually, Mike noticed the stack of plates and hurried over. "Cool, a plate toss!" he exclaimed. He threw the top plate against the wall, and it smashed. Soon, the friends were competing to see who could break the most plates. Mike won. "Is this my prize for winning?" Mike asked, pointing to the stuffed monster hanging from the ceiling. He jumped up and down to try and reach it. "Don't hurt him!" George cried anxiously. He was glad Mike hadn't said anything about a bat. Meanwhile, Needleman was feeling hot, so he dunked his head in the punch bowl. "Ooh," he said. "Refreshing." Later, Mike opened his presents. Everyone agreed the dog breath aftershave smelled very nice on him. They even tried the cake, which turned out to be quite tasty after all. "This is the best birthday ever, guys," Mike exclaimed. The next night, Sulley visited Boo again. "Thanks for lending me this," he said, handing the picture back. It was a huge help. "Party for Mike Wazowski?" Boo asked. "That's right," Sulley said. He showed Boo a photo they'd taken at Mike's party. Sulley smiled. "It may not have turned out exactly right," he said, "but Mike thought it was perfect." The end. What would you do for a friend's birthday party? Let me know in the comments below. See you later. Bye.